So I still have really fond memories of when I was a junior golfer, learning how to play golf and improve my skills with my mates, particularly on the driving range. And we'd sort of take it in turns between sort of, how much we could slice it, how much we could draw it, how high we could hit it, and also how low we could hit it. And I remember there was a period where we were all struggling with really trying to hit the golf ball really low, because one of two things was either happening. One, we either couldn't hit the golf ball very low, or two, we'd end up in quite a lot of discomfort and pain. And that's because what we were doing was we were moving the ball back, and then we were trying to hit down on the golf ball like so. But some of my mates couldn't even get it going low at all. And myself, I could get it going low, but I hated playing it because my hands would really hurt. Now, I then, as time went on, realised there was other ways to hit the golf ball low, and it was all about getting this shaft lean. So as time went on, I actually realised, well, if I actually move the ball further forward and keep the shaft lean, actually I can hit the golf ball low without trying to excessively hit down on the ball. And that was a big part of my development, and that helped me learn how to control what would be known as your compression. So what we're trying to do in the golf swing, if I grab an alignment stick here, is that if you're somebody who is struggling with compression, what's happening is you're like myself as a junior golfer and the friends of mine, you're striking sort of very steep in terms of your angle of attack, so you're hitting very downward on the ball, but what's happening is you're still returning the club with too much loft. So all this is doing is either giving you poor contact, or it's giving you still that sort of high pop-up trajectory. What you need to do, and this is what I discovered, is actually, okay, we need to control the loft of the club and actually get the feeling, if we're trying to compress it particularly and we're trying to produce less spin on the ball, we actually need to kind of have a relatively neutral angle of attack. So I'm not saying we want to hit up on the ball necessarily, but what we don't want to do is we don't want to hit excessively down on the ball. We want to try and get quite a neutral delivery and get the feeling of producing less loft. And that sort of understanding to this day helps lots of students of mine, because now I have lots of drills and feelings which helps golfers discover compression. So there's a couple. One of the first ones that you can try, which is very, very basic, is if you get set up to the golf ball, and all I want you to do is keep your hands relatively central, just hinge the back of your wrist and drop the club down on the floor, similar to this. Now, from this position, all you're going to do is you're just going to basically try and drag, keeping the club on the floor for as long as you possibly can. But the thing that you also have to do is you have to keep guiding the club in the direction of the target. Okay, so what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to drag it around this way. I want you to drag it towards the target. And what that's doing is it's doing two things. One, you're having to sort of concentrate on your hands leading, because obviously if I kind of scoop at it, the club's going to lift off the floor. And the second thing is it's helping me get this feeling of extending up. So as I'm extending my chest upward towards the target, maintaining the shaft lean, what that's doing is that is fundamentally helping me do the two things which are going to compress the ball. The hands forward helps produce less loft. The extension up helps avoid too much steepness and helps us shallow out that path. So that's fundamentally what you're looking for. Now, with that type of drill, might be useful for a little bit and you can do it at home, but obviously it's not that practical. You're not going to get any benefit doing that down the driving range, but it's something you can do to understand what we're looking for as a feeling to start off with. The thing that you need to do, and this works all the time in golf lessons when I get people on a hands-on, but you have to have an element of bravery with this, is you need to play around with what you're doing with the grip end of the club, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and show you what I'd be trying to get golfers to feel. So if you are somebody who is struggling with compression, then what we're saying is you're almost coming too sort of steep, okay? And then in the delivery, it's kind of like this. So what we're trying to do is we want to get the feeling with the grip end that the grip is actually moving more up and ahead of the ball, okay? And then the club will naturally downcock like so. Okay, so you're trying to do this first and foremost. So if I swing towards you, see the way I'm guiding the grip end more up and to the right of where you are if you're on my target. And in turn, what this is going to do is this is going to help me control that club face position. It's also going to help me control that feeling of not striking too downward. Now, simultaneously, I think a really good feeling for somebody who's never experienced compression is to get that sense of that handle going up, okay, similar to what I'm demonstrating here, but simultaneously you need to feel like you're closing the face, okay? And this is a really good drill as I do it this way. So see the way I'm not going kind of down and this way, I'm going up with the grip as I simultaneously close the face. And like I said, this is a really good drill for somebody who's never experienced compression, because quite often in lessons I'll get somebody who has never even hit it with a draw, instantly drawing it, but also really getting a strong feeling for what it's like to deliver an efficient hit and get that sort of sense of compression on the back of the ball. So stop doing what I did and stop doing what some of my mates did if you're trying to hit it low. Start to understand what the club is actually designed to do, and what you'll notice is, one, you'll be able to hit lower shots deliberately when you need to, but more importantly, this is the skill set that you really need to be able to compress the golf ball and maximise your distance.